Greetings. Let us continue with the discussion of determinacy and stability. What is determinacy? When all the forces in the structure can be determined strictly from the available equilibrium equation, the structure is referred as statically determinate. Means whatever the available equilibrium equations has been there with reference to the geometry of the structure, they are sufficient to find out the unknown forces in the member. In that case, I am going to say the structure is being determinate. If they are insufficient, I am going to say the structure as a statically indeterminate. If the structure is statically indeterminate, the additional equations need to solve for the unknown reactions are obtained by relating applied loads and reaction to the displacement or slope at different points on the structure. These equations, which are referred to as compatibility equation, must be equal in number to the degree of indeterminacy of the structure. What's the meaning of this statement? It says that if there are number of unknowns are more and available equilibrium equations are less, so in order to find out the unknown forces, we have to write additional equations, and for that we have to take a reference of displacement or the slopes at different points within the structure, and we have to create a constitutive relationship, and that constitutive relationship will be used to find out the unknown forces. All such constitutive relationship which we have prepared, their count will be said to be equal to the degree of static indeterminacy of that particular structure. Let's try to put this in a mathematical format. For that, let us have ds is equals to dse plus dsi, where ds is said to be degree of static indeterminacy and dse is said to be degree of static indeterminacy externally, measured externally, and dsi is the degree of static indeterminacy measured internally. What is the meaning of DSE here? The external indeterminacy which is generated due to the end restraints, and the internal indeterminacy which is generated due to the joint constants. Like we have seen in the previous case, the joints they were not properly held, the members were not properly held. It will lead to the joint constants. Okay, for a plain truss pin jointed member, DSE equals to number of unknown reactive forces, number of unknown reaction minus number of available equilibrium equations. Here number of available equilibrium is usable equilibrium equation. For a plain truss, the number of available equilibrium equation will be summation of force in x direction, summation of force in y direction, summation of moment at any point is equals to 0. So here this equation we will be defining depending upon the geometry. In case of plain truss, it will define a geometry as a coplanar force system. That's why we'll have three equilibrium equation for that. So let us say ds is equals to r minus 3j. R is nothing but the count of reactive forces developed due to end restraints, minus 3 is nothing but the number of available equilibrium equation with us for the given force system, usable equilibrium equation depending upon the force system under address. Let us count for the degree of internal indeterminacy, which is defined as a m minus 2j minus 3. What I have done here, the equation which we have written for identifying whether it is a perfect or imperfect depending upon member compatibility, that equation I have rearranged in a format m minus 2j, so that the resultant will define what count of unknowns are there, what count of member force unknowns are there. The dsi is equals to m minus 2j minus 3. So here if I add these two equations to define degree of static indeterminacy, we will get r minus 3 plus m minus 2j minus 3 in bracket. If we solve it further, what will happen? Minus 3 and this will be plus 3. These two components get cancelled. M plus r taken commonly minus 2j. This will be the resultant equation for degree of static indeterminacy of a structure of a frame. Okay, of a of a plane frame. Okay, now if I go with reference to the space frame with pin jointed, so here the equation may be written as a ds is equals to m plus r minus 3j, where 3j is a count for three members. We will have three members, one is spanning in x direction, one is spanning in y, and one is spanning in z direction. Let us have some numerical evaluation to understand the concept here. Evaluate the degree of internal static indeterminacy of the truss shown in figure. So he has given a truss to us. The geometry of the truss is like this, having three base and bracing members, forming a particular a certain geometry, and supported by two end restraints, which are hinge supports at the ends. Now it's suppose that we have to find out whether it is statically determined or indeterminate. For that, let's start with the count of joints first. The number of joints equals to 8. Then count of members. Number of members are equals to 14, and the number of unknown forces here. Since ends are hinge support, they will lead to the development of two reactive forces due to restriction along the translation displacements. Okay, so end A will have two unknown reactive force, and other end will have a two reactive forces. In all, total reactive forces are 4. If I substitute this value in the equation, ds equals to m plus r minus 2j, I can write m count of members are 14, count of members of reactive forces are, number of reactive forces are 4, minus 2 into count of j is 8. This results into a degree of static indeterminacy of 2. Means two unknown forces are there within the member. Now, this will give overall quantification if one is interested to know individual contribution, what externally is possessed, what internally it possesses. We can have separate counting of this. DSE equals to R minus 3. R is the number of reactive force minus 3 available equilibrium equation for the given configuration. The given configuration is your coplanar force system. The 3 is the available equilibrium equations. Count here, 4 minus 3 results into 1. One unknown force is there, and that is one unknown reactive force is there, which for which we have to write additional equations. DSI is equals to m minus 2j minus 3. If I see the compatibility of the members here, the m minus 2j minus 3, 14 minus 2 into 8 minus 3, it results into 1, means one additional member is there, and that member force is unknown. So here the structure is redundant, it's redundant, and it has two forces, unknown forces in it. One due to virtue of interest and one due to virtue of members. Okay. Now let's move to the second example here. The second truss is shown in the figure, and supporting system is here. Two hinge supports are there. What's the first part? We have to count the number of joints here. The number of joints are here 6. Number of members count is here 10, and number of reactive forces count will be 8. If I substitute in the equation ds equals to m plus r minus 2j, then I can write ds equals to 10 plus 4 minus 2 into 6, which result into ds equals to 2. This number of unknown forces are here 2. So likewise, I can find out what amount of unknown forces a structure possesses, and for that I have to write some additional equations to solve it. Okay, now move towards the part of stability. Now, how to define the stability? To ensure the equilibrium of structure or its member, it is not only necessary to satisfy the equation of equilibrium, but the members must be properly held or constant by the supports. So here stability depends upon what freedoms the structure is going to have at its ends. Okay, so this will call it as a constants which we are going to provide at that particular joint. For example, we have two types of restraints here: partial constants, which can be understood with the help of this figure. In the figure, it's shown that a bracket connection is there, where end A is being prepared at a secured member held at the fixed end, and a lever arm coming outside. Okay, connected at A. If I prepare free body diagram for this, what I will get, one reactive forces which has been developed normal along the bracket length, and one the translation moment is being developed due to the connection on this member. Okay, now these two forces will define the stability of this joint. But if we see about the force here, force applied is the inclined one. It will have one component. If I say here theta, it will have one component in x direction, one component in y direction. So y direction component is going to counterbalance by the reactive force, whereas the component which is on horizontal direction will remain unbalanced, thereby creating a freedom of this bracket to move in lateral direction. Okay, and that we call as a partial constants which we have. at this end. This is not a perfect fixed end. It's going to lead towards a deformation, and this deformation will lead towards a unknown force to be addressed. Now the second part is the improper constants. The constants which are provided is not sufficient to define the stability of the structure. It will lead to the multiple degrees of freedom for the structure, thereby questioning number of unknown forces. Such type of geometry I am going to call it as a improper constants. That's why one has to ensure the kinematic. So one has to ensure the stability of the structure depending upon the constants here, and that count we will call it as a the degree of kinematic indeterminacy. Okay, it is the minimum number of moments, degree of freedom DOF, with which the kinematic configuration of overall structure can be defined. That is the number of unknown independent moments of the structure. Okay, how to find this unknown independent moments of the structure? For that, the kinematic unknown are the joint moments and the member end moments. We are going to see about how many joint moments are possible joint moments are there, and how many member end moments are available there. For example, I have taken here a cantilever beam. One end is fixed and another end is free. If I talk about the end fixed end, then the degrees of freedom will be 0, because there will be three reactive forces generated, two translation and one rotational. Rotational displacement and translational displacement are completely locked. That's why degrees of freedom will be 0. Whereas the end other end is free. Okay, cantilever end is free. So this will have uh, degrees of freedom which will be multiple in numbers. For example, if I say vertical force is going to act, it is able to move in vertical direction, means it will show the deformation in vertical direction, means here degree of freedom in vertical direction is that. If I have axial force, then it may have the extension in that direction. It will have degree of freedom in horizontal direction. If it is subjected to bending, it will show the flexural displacement here, thereby degrees of freedom will be in count here, and it may be subjected to twist at the end, and distortion will be observed with reference to torsional forces here. Means at free end there are a possibility of deformation which is having 4 number of degrees of freedom will be 4. Why 4? It may be multiple, but what I said in structural analysis, there are 4 dominating forces which are considered, and the others are the secondary forces. That's why degrees of freedom for a free end will be 4 only for the 4 identified forces, possible forces which can which can deform this end, or which can deform this member at the end. Okay, so with this discussion, let us continue to formulate the numerical method to quantify it. For a planar structure, for a pin joint planar structure, we can say degree of kinematic indeterminacy equals to 2j minus r. 2j, we'll have the degrees of freedom for a joint which will be count as a 2. For case of planar structure, it can move in x direction, it can move in a y direction. And in case of truss, we assume that the deformations may be along the member ends only, and member is not subjected to any flexural. There is no flexural forces. There is no question about the flexor and twist. There only 2 degrees of freedoms will be available. Minus r. R is nothing but the reactive forces. These reactive forces will have the action of clamping of the displacement. That's why 2j minus r will be the mathematical equation will define the degree of kinematic indeterminacy of the planar structure. For a space structure, it will be 3j minus 3, because 3 members are there, and the 3 at a joint there will be possibility of 3 extension. To dk equals to 3j minus r. Let us have evaluate this with the help of a numerical here. The truss frame is given to us, and it's supposed to find out degree of kinematic indeterminacy of this frame. So let us count first the number of joints here, then j equals to 8, number of members are 14, number of reactive forces are 4. So if I write dk equals to 2j minus 3, so it will be 2 into 8 minus 4, dk is equals to 12, means 12 degrees of freedoms are there. If we see these ends where the supports are provided, there is no degree of freedom, whereas the other joints are free. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 joints are there. Multiply by 2 individual displacement will result into 12, and this equation also result into answer 12. Let's move towards the second example here, which is supported by end supports like this. number of points of joints are 6, number of points of